The rounded top pattern is an invaluable tool for the short seller. Here we see an excellent example of a long rise in a stock followed by this rounded top. You can see the distribution going on as buying dries up and selling increases. And ideally you'll have a clean horizontal line beneath which the price will break and retrace. Here we see in greater detail the break beneath that support line and a retrace. And that represents the lowest risk place to short an instrument, because the rounded top has demonstrated its clarity and the reliability of that horizontal line, and thus represents the most attractive risk-reward ratio. Here, this is a very dramatic example, and this overview will contain many examples from the financial crisis, because that's when the distribution over the course of 2005, 2006, 2007 was cleanest and easiest to see, and of course the drop in 2008 most dramatic. Here again we see beneath the horizontal a break, a challenge of that line, a couple of overshoots, but by and large the damage was done, and a descent began taking place from that horizontal. In this case, a stock which had been valued at about $80 went down into the single digits by March of 2009. So a virtual complete wipeout of the equity. Here's Abercrombie & Fitch, which, although nothing to do with finance, likewise suffered during the financial crisis. Here's a very clean range from the upper 50s to the upper 70s, and that broke down, retraced beautifully to the horizontal, and then began its own descent, losing vast majority of shareholder value during just a few months. Capital One, here we have a very clean rounded top. This is up around the $70 price range, a break, and then many months later a thrust higher toward that horizontal. So that again changes roles from support to resistance. This is Marine Max as another example. Here's the horizontal at about $18, and in this case there wasn't much of a lunge to the horizontal. Once the dip started, it really continued in earnest. Atlas Pipeline, symbol APL. Here's the topping pattern here, the rounded top, that red line representing support, the blue line above the top of the range, and a crack beneath about the 25.75 horizontal was met with a brief attempt to recapture it and then a plunge from there. Here again is Abercrombie & Fitch to illustrate that not only was this rounded top a good indicator of the break, but that trend line, you see the ascending trend line, was likewise broken and also happened to represent a confluence of price resistance preceding the plunge. Sonic Solution, here is the horizontal at about 12. Many attempts to break it, so clearly illustrating firm support, and it finally did break and then pushed cleanly, almost exactly hitting that horizontal before reversing and then plunging at that point to literally a penny stock.